Yeah.
feedback
Still America's
from,
past.
okay?
Still America's past.
It's a past time. Yeah, you're damn right. It's been left behind.
You.
America has moved on, baseball. You got to catch up. Hello, welcome to Hat Trick. I am Jordan Dollar-Coltman, joined by Braydon Dollar-Coltman and Elliott Tanti. Braydon is back with us this week. He took a week off to sunbathe and get a sunburn on the island. How you feeling, Braydon?
I'm feeling great. I was ready to record last week, but I was told that I wasn't needed. So
Yeah, you're right. We didn't actually want you. Elliott and I had a great time without you.
I brought a mic and everything.
Yeah.
I was ready to go.
No, Elliott and I had an awesome episode last week. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it. Elliott had lots of very strong opinions, and because Braydon wasn't there, he had some time to speak. So
You're welcome.
Ain't that the truth? And by island, of course, we do mean prison, right?
Yeah, that's right. Braydon hasn't actually listened to the episode, but we did talk about how you were in prison. Anyway,
Fantastic.
He has gotten paroled.
I served my time.
Yeah, he has been paroled, and we are ready to go. This is this week's episode of Hat Trick. Here we go. Okay, topic one. Because Braydon didn't bother to show up last week, we're going to put him into. We're going to, give him a couple extra innings here.
Yeah, I got some things to say.
Yeah, we're going to put him to work. The very first topic we're going to talk about is something we haven't touched on almost at all this year, because frankly, I just couldn't be bothered to care about baseball anymore. I just feel like it has moved so far away from like mainstream.
Mainstream what?
Well, just sports and culture in general. I feel like it's sort of the lost. No, I really do. I think it's like it's been the left behind sport as we move into like the digital.
That's a very strong take. That is a very strong.
No, I think it's been left behind. The
In what
NFL
way?
and just let me get it out.
No, let us hear.
The NFL and the NBA have just completely eclipsed it as being the two most important sports in America. 20 years ago, it would have been baseball and the NFL, right? And the NBA was the third league. And the NBA has become the more important cultural sport in the United States, right?
There's no way the NBA is more important in the United States than the MLB.
I think that it's definitely.
I think culturally, it's much more important right now.
But I do think it depends on where you are in it.
Yeah, and that's fair. But I think en masse, you go watch sports coverage. You watch what is being programmed on the major networks.
Look, Jordan, it was an outlandish take during your opening, and we're just not going to stand for it here. Okay, it was a bad take.
So moving on.
I stand by it. The point being, there's one baseball team in Canada that's really the only one Braydon gives a damn about. So we're going to talk.
I give a damn about.
Yeah.
Most of Canadians give a damn about.
Right. Let's talk about the Toronto Blue Jays.
All right.
We're about halfway through the season. Is that fair? A little over halfway.
We're just a little over half.
So how have the Blue Jays fared? They're now back at home. They finally got to come back to Canada from exile in Buffalo, and obviously Major League Baseball had a weird season last year. They kind of had a season, if you can but it wasn't like a bubble. It was sort of they just tried to plug through, and they got sort of some semblance of a season. But this is really the first time they've been back to full baseball schedule. So how do the Blue Jays look? They're a younger team, but they're definitely on the upswing.
They're definitely a younger team. They're a younger team full of some of the best young talent that baseball has to offer, which is really exciting, really fun. I think for the league and specifically for this team, it's got to be hard to be moving. Like they were in, like you said, they were in Florida for quarter of the season. They were then moved to Buffalo for another quarter of the season, and then all of a sudden they're moving to Toronto. Everybody's like, yeah, welcome home, but none of these guys even have homes. Half of them have even played in Toronto before. So it's exciting for those players that are with the team now that haven't been with the team, that are now, able to experience the fan. And it's exciting because these fans they're not like normal baseball fans. They're fans who have been waiting for their team to arrive back for a couple of years now. So there's some excitement with that. They went on a really, really great winning streak over the last couple of weeks. They're kind of in a slump right now. George Springer has been exactly what the Toronto Blue Jays had paid him to be. He's injured right now, and hopefully that doesn't last long, but they're definitely primed. I'm a little worried about the competition this year. They're kind of on the outside looking in on the wild card. They're not too far back, but I think over the next 5 years, this is going to be a top team in the MLB.
Elliott, thoughts?
So here's my question for you, Braydon. And can you talk a little bit about, everyone knows the Blue Jays can hit. That's their shtick. That's been their shtick for a long time, and they've continued that kind of culture of being a good hitting team. To start the year, their pitching was atrocious. What happened? What's changed? What's happened to at least make them a more competitive ball team, and that they have some sort of defense now?
When it comes to defense or pitching, because when it comes to pitching, they haven't done anything. This team is notorious for lacking pitching. The struggles that we faced this year is a severe lack of talent in the bullpen. And with that comes lack of confidence and then losses. And so at the deadline, we passed over the deadline on Hat-Trick, but now is a perfect time to mention that the Jays made some great additions with Jose Barrios. They gave up their number 2 and number 4 prospect, Austin Martin and Simeon Wood Richardson. If people remember, he was the pitcher that came over in the Marcus Stroman trade with the Mets. These were really, really high prospects that all of MLB was like, these guys are going to be really good. And then they just flipped them. And I think at first you kind of go, oh shit, like I don't want to lose these guys. These are going to be really, but when you look at, the depth that the Jays have right now, especially batting, you've got Bichette at shortstop. You've got Groshans, who's a shortstop as well. And then you've got Austin Martin, who's this number 2 prospect, who's a shortstop. You don't need him. And so, it's hard to see those guys go, but they definitely added some talent, in the starting rotation. The bullpen is still lacking though, Elliott. And I think that that's something that they're going to, they're gonna suffer in the postseason if they make it to the postseason, but down the stretch they're gonna suffer in their bullpen because they haven't done anything to upgrade that. They added Brad Hand, who is supposed to be one of the best closers in the league, and he's just not he's not what he once was, at least right now. And so that's frustrating. But yeah, their pitching is still atrocious, Elliott. And the thing though, with the Jays being the best batters or the home run team, there's the crazy thing that's different in most sports though, I feel, is each stadium's different, right? So each stadium kind of impacts the way games go. And in Toronto, that's a hitter's ballpark. So if you can hit the ball deep, you're likely to hit a home run.
So not a salary cap league. Where do the Jays fit in terms of how much they spend? Because obviously they're not spending. I was just wondering like where they are in comparison to where they sit in the standings. Because I've never known this.
I couldn't tell you the exact figures. It's ridiculous though, still to me, that the MLB is without a salary cap. You see the Dodgers just loading up every year on every star player. The Jays, I think, sit like kind of in the 75 percentile of highest paid team, player team, or whatever you want to call it. They are notorious for being quite frugal, though. Like they don't usually want to blow their wad on big contracts. The biggest contracts they've ever dished out was this year to George Springer. And that was like 5-year 200 or something like that.
So 180 maybe. They're 11th in the league in total spending.
11th, yeah.
How many?
At 133.
32.
Just 30.
Half.
Just 30. Yeah.
Well, yeah. They're in the upper half.
They're in the upper half. Yeah.
They're 20 million more than the league average. League average.
So let me guess.
Million.
The first is the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Then the Yankees.
Yeah.
And then the Red Sox.
Mets.
Oh, Mets. And still they suck.
And actually the Red Sox are 6. That goes Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Astros, Phillies. Then Red Sox.
Phillies for sure, yeah.
And then Angels.
And then Angels, the other LA team. Wow, that's crazy. Huh.
But but the Dodgers are far and away, 267 million. The Toronto pays 151.
Yeah.
So when you look at it with we're in the middle of August, coming up on the last month and a half of baseball before the postseason, do they have a chance first to make the postseason? And if they do they have the roster to kind of make a statement, or is this sort of another stepping stone for this club towards developing a championship caliber team? Are they there yet, or are we looking at another season?
Well, first and foremost, yes, we're looking at another season and beyond. I think that with the age that these players are at, that is the expectation. Now, they're still pushing to be competitive this year. they're only sitting 4.5 games out of a wild card spot, but the two teams ahead of them in that wild card spot are in their division, the AL East. So being the Yankees and the Red Sox. So I feel like it's going to be a really hard take going at making the offseason, but I do think they have a very decent chance. They've got a very, very deep offensive lineup in their batting order. And if Springer can stay healthy, Simeon has been one of the best one-year signings that the Jays have ever seen. I'm really hoping that they could re-up him, re-sign him for multi-year. But they've got some really, really great talent, and if they can get the pitching that they need to persevere, then they have a very good chance at making the postseason rather. Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we'll wait and see what happens there. That is our Blue Jays report for the year. We probably won't talk about them again until October, see if they make the playoffs. And if they don't, then in about another year or so, we'll get back to it. All right, that was topic one. Hey, guess what? The Ordinary Podcasting Network has a brand new show. If you're a fan of Hat-Trick Sports, then I promise you are going to enjoy the Backyard Basketball Podcast. Braydon Delacoldman, who is one of the hosts of this show here, Hat-Trick, hosts an amazing basketball show with one of his best friends, Christian Steck. Together, the two of them will break down the NBA, news from around the basketball world, and get you caught up on everything you need to know. It's fun, it's fast, they have great conversation and banter, they love basketball, and you will love the Backyard Basketball Podcast. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts, and you can also follow them on Instagram at backyardbasketball_podcast. Okay, so jumping off of baseball did do something kind of interesting this past week that got a lot of media attention, a lot of social media attention, and you got to give them credit for that. As I joked about in the first segment, they are struggling a little bit to find sort of new audiences, I think, for their game, and they took a risk and tried something that a few other leagues have tried. We've seen now for almost a decade and a half these outdoor games in the NHL, but this week Major League Baseball held a game in Iowa in a cornfield in a stadium built to replicate the Field of Dreams from the classic movie.
Right across from it.
Yeah, that's right. From where the original idea was. And beautiful execution, beautiful layout. They did a great job, I thought, in the presentation. Kevin Costner out at the beginning of it. It was just interesting to see like a sports league really embrace one of their sort of like mythological narratives that isn't actually their own story. Do you know what I mean? That there's something sort of detached from the idea that Major League Baseball would go back and embrace a movie that's really about like, sort of paying homage to a bunch of players that were banned from the league for gambling and ended up, as ghosts in the storyline. But it beautifully executed. The players for the Yankees and the White Sox coming out of the cornfield, I thought it was a made for TV moment that was executed really well. And we've seen a lot of times these made for TV moments by leagues fall on their faces or just not work. Obviously, the NHL tried something kind of unique this year because they didn't have to worry about fans. They tried to play a game at Lake Tahoe. We kind of teased them about it, and a lot of people did because the sun was just so hot that day that the ice was terrible. It was unplayable, but it was cool. Beautiful. It was an interesting idea, and I think that they have to get some credit for that. So we thought we'd play a little game this week, where each of us will pitch a unique venue or a unique concept for a professional sports game to occur in. Now, this had to be somewhat plausible. So no, we're not going to have a hockey game on the moon. There's a
Jordan, you can't quit talking. You're stealing my idea right now.
There was a pitch on Twitter about the Kraken and the Canucks playing underwater. I don't think that's going to happen. Apparently, the NHL at one point did look at doing an NHL outdoor game on an aircraft carrier. I don't know how that would work with the leveling and whatnot, but it had to be somewhat plausible. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe Elliott's going to break the rules, and that's fine. I will go first. Mine is actually, I thought about it. I've been thinking about it a lot, and then I started looking it up, and apparently there was at one point an actual idea to play a game at Lake Louise. I wanted to take it one step further. I think Lake Louise would be an unbelievable backdrop. But what I want to say is we've seen all those amazing beer commercials where you've got these like outdoor rinks on the top of a mountain. I want to see that with NHL players. I want them helicoptered in full gear. I want them stepping out of the helicopters. I don't want fans. This is a made for TV moment. I want drones, big cool camera angles, but I want them stepping off of helicopters. I want them playing in this outdoor, pristine, untouched venue, made for TV 100%. my pitch is the NHL on the top of a mountain or in a fully unacceptable backcountry rink somewhere, just like back to the purest sense of pond hockey.
You know, be sweet with that one is if they entered the ice like with crashed ice first, so they had to like go down
like the Red Bull
chute. Yeah.
and they're just trying to you avoid injury and then you get to try.
And whatever team gets down first gets to start the game with an extra point. There you go. It's like a player on second. All right, Elliott, what's your pitch for one of these
you triggered me. First of all, your intro was so funny because you're like, Major League Baseball decided to do something unique. We've seen other sports like hockey do outdoor games and MLB, and I was like, are you going to praise MLB for doing an outdoor game? You didn't do that, but
all of MLB's games are outdoor games.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, no, Jordan, what wasn't special about this was that it was outside. Okay, listen, you triggered me before this conversation. Space Jam. Let's do Space Jam, but just for real. Listen, you got the internet.
So what, the Monstars? What, the LA Lakers as they currently are?
Listen. Whoa. You got everything but the air in the International Space Station. Okay? You everything set up a basketball court. It's a zero-grav basketball game on the International Space
how do you
Station.
get Air Jordan to sponsor that then? Because it would be zero gravity Jordan.
It'd be zero grav Jordan. It'd be a whole new brand, a whole new line of sneakers. It's the whole thing. Zero gravity basketball would be insane. It's like what was that? What was that?
Like trampoline
that
slam ball.
It's like slam ball, but like in space. Literally, let's just create Space Jam. The branding's already there. You get LeBron there. You got a movie about it. Just literally create basketball on the International Space Station.
All right.
You want to talk about made for TV?
I like it. All right, what do you got, Braydon? What do you got?
Well, I had a hard time with this because I was like, one, the Field of Dreams was a really great idea, and it kind of took me surprised because I didn't actually know it was happening, and I kind of caught wind of it late. I don't know why they only played one game when baseball usually does series of like 3 games. Yeah. So you build this whole thing and then
Elliott's told you already.
One of them?
No, but Elliott's told you already. It's Ticketgate. They couldn't get enough people into that stadium for it to be a valuable asset for the league. They need to make money.
Right. So it's a novel thing, as are the Winter Classics and the Heritage Classics.
Except for those ones, they have like 100,000 fans.
Which are great. I think it's really great for the league.
Yeah.
I think that the NBA tried to do something like that in China. And
by playing a game in China?
And overseas.
Very unique.
I thought about maybe synchronized swimming in synchronized swimming in shark infested waters might be pretty interesting. But I think what would be really sweet is for sure. I'm with you on the NBA. I think the NBA needs to kind of pick up something like this that would be interesting.
Go outside.
Go outside. Yeah. Rutgers Park is a huge park in New York. Lots of history, lots of culture around that, around where the NBA kind of started.
Or just play in Times Square.
Venice Beach would be sweet. Times Square is not the right place to do that, though.
You get the Knicks and the Nets playing in Times Square.
Rutgers Park
with a set-up stadium.
Rutgers in New York.
Yeah.
That's what would you do.
But would it be hardwood or not? That's the question.
Oh, yeah. You lay one of their courts the same way that they can lay their courts in a bloody ballroom at Orlando's.
Or Venice Beach. You need a nice backdrop. That's what you need. And the NBA is due for something like this, for sure.
It would be cool to take the NBA outside, for sure. That would be really cool. Because it's one of the only sports right now that hasn't really tried to mix the venue up like that. Like the NHL's gone outside because it makes sense, but basketball easily could be played outside. You know what's
different about the Field of Dreams? That was more of the narrative of it rather than the novelty of where it is.
That's right.
What it is.
Yeah, totally. It was the crossover of the story. And so it's is there a sports movie for one of the other leagues that you could jump on? Elliott, so Space Jam. Yeah, what is the other one?
We take a dog, a golden retriver. And we just recreate Airbud. All 4 of the major sports. Okay.
Yep. That's we crossed the what's that dog show? The big the Westminster Abbey with not Westminster
Dog Show. The Westminster Dog Show.
What am I thinking?
The Westminster Dog Show.
Yeah. Why did I keep saying Abbey? That's the place. That's the
church.
That's the church
in London.
That's where it would take place as well.
Okay. Because I know the NFL did try to play in Mexico City last year, so it's not like too novel for. They just couldn't because the field was so bad.
Is basketball? Sorry, Jordan, you finish.
No. I'm just saying, like, lots of teams have tried to do like out of market games. I'm just talking more like out of normal playing condition space is what's cool about it.
Yeah, is basketball disproportionately impacted by wind, though? Like, you'd have is
well, that's a good question.
Well, no more than hockey is by cold weather.
Well,
like, yes, the impact of the game.
Not if you're trying to make shots. Not if you're trying to make threes,
question.
though.
That's a really good question.
But like, look at the Sidney Crosby game with Buffalo and Pittsburgh. You're going to tell me that the heavy snow falling didn't impact the outcome of that game? Yeah. By going outside, the elements become a factor.
But if you take a shot at the net and there's wind, it's probably not going to impact the puck's
I don't
direction.
suggest that they play on like the top of a building, although that would be cool.
It would be cool, yeah. If there was a ping pong game at like the top of two. Or tennis match, at the top of a skyscraper.
That'd be great.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That'd be great. All right. Well, we have lots of cool ideas. If anyone at home has a better idea or likes one of those ideas, hit us up on Instagram or Twitter. Give us your suggestions. Maybe we'll do a greatest hits of any other suggestions that come in. But I really do think the league should be paying attention. Major League Baseball did something, and the biggest and most important thing from the outcome of that game was that it got attention again for a league that is desperate to try to be the finger on the pulse of what's cool for young people. And it was an Instagram and Twitter phenomenon. People loved it. It was trending everywhere. They thought it was really cool. I'm sure half the people who thought it was cool didn't even know what the movie was because it's so old. But nostalgia is always a cool thing.
But next year they're going to do another movie with baseball, and Kevin Costner will also be there.
Yeah, probably. All right, we'll leave it there. That's topic 2. Do you or someone you know own a small business? Are you looking to grow or to reach new customers? Hey, why not let us help? Hattrick is looking for unique brands, businesses, and products to advertise on our show. You can find out how we can help spread the word about your business by contacting us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. All right, here we go. Topic 3, we're going back to hats off. We haven't done it in a few weeks. We're all ready to take our hats off. We will go to Elliott first. Elliott,
okay.
Who are you taking your hat off to?
Let me take you to the Savannah Bananas, one of my favorite minor league team names in baseball, the Savannah Bananas, and one Josh Lavender. I tip my hat to him this week, and I'll tell you why. This is probably, and I will share it with you guys as we go, the greatest walk-up I have ever seen. Walk up to the bat. Look, he brings a caddy, golf rangefinder, and goes through a whole process during his I don't know if you can see this. Are you seeing this right now?
Yeah, we're watching it. We'll post it on our Instagram.
He's got the whole
proof.
He's got the scorecard in front of him. They're doing now. The caddy's doing the rangefinder.
This is just the walk-up.
They're going to talk it through. He suggests a club. That seems like maybe the right club. That looks like a iron or so.
This will work.
Decides to take it back. They switch to the bat.
Oh, yeah, maybe try bat. We're playing baseball.
That's right. And the caddy's up.
Swings like a golf club.
This is fantastic. All right, we'll post this because this is
what
worth
is
watching.
This?
This
like
is minor league baseball.
Okay.
Minor league baseball. I don't even know where it is from, honestly.
Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia, the Savannah Bananas, Josh Lavender. I tip my hat to you. The name and everything about this is perfect. Hey, you want to get butts and seats in baseball? This is the kind of shit you need to be doing.
I love
Hats off.
I love it. All right, Braydon, who are you taking your hat off to?
All right, I had told you guys that I had tipped my hat to a young pitcher that got a no-hitter today. That's not who I'm tipping my hat to. Good for him, but I'm tipping my hat to the newest member of the Toronto Raptors, Scotty Barnes, who was the surprise 4th overall pick. He's going to be a really, really fun player to watch, and I think Toronto Raptors fans are going to gravitate to him very quickly. He dropped 15.5 points tonight, 6.8 rebounds in Summer League, to be fair. So, yes, young players. But this guy's going to surprise. He's going to surprise a lot of people. So I tip my hat to Scotty Barnes. You can find out more about Scotty Barnes' quick pitch on the Backyard Basketball Podcast, also hosted by the Ordinary Podcasting Network. Christian and I host a podcast every Wednesday. You can find it here.
You done?
That's it.
Nice. Nice little plug there. I will take my hat off to the newest member of Paris Saint-Germain. And no, I am not talking about Leon Messi.
The crybaby. Oh.
I'm not talking about Leon Messi. I am talking about the newest member of PSG Féminin, the female version of the PSG organization, Stephanie Labe. Goaltender, gold medalist for Team Canada. She upgrades from her Swedish club. They signed her to the biggest women's team in Europe, arguably the biggest women's team in the world. And now she is absolutely on a 2-week roller coaster of success after success. And I wish her nothing but success in Paris. And I hope that she continues to find more and more wins. We didn't really get to do a hats off after the Olympics. She's my Olympic winner. What an amazing performance by Stephanie Labe. Best of luck in Paris. And that was hats off. This week it was a lot of fun, a lot of baseball content. So we'll look for the angry letters from all of the listeners who are confused.
Baseball fans,
yeah. No, about fans that how much you downplayed their sport as a cultural icon in America. That's who we're going to get the feedback
still America's
from,
pastime. Okay, it's still America's pastime.
It's a past time. Yeah, you're damn right. It's been left behind. America has moved on. Baseball, you got to catch up.
You know what?
We will leave it there. Maybe if baseball played more games inside, it would be better. I don't know.
Oh yeah, what baseball needs is more games. Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Maybe if they were just playing 300 a year, that would be great.
All right, we will leave it there. This has been Hat Trick. Hat Trick is a member of the Ordinary Podcasting Network. It's produced every week by Jordan Dowler-Coltman and Braydon Dowler-Coltman. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thanks for listening.
The Ordinary Podcasting Network wishes to acknowledge that the lands on which our conversations take place include Treaty 6 territory, the traditional meeting ground and home for many indigenous peoples, including the Cree, Dene, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, and the Nakota Sioux peoples, as well as the unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations.
We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, whose footsteps have marked these lands for generations. And we extend our appreciation for the opportunity to live, create, and share stories on these territories.
The Ordinary Podcasting Network intends to engage in conversations and dialogue which acknowledge that reconciliation is not a destination, but a journey, and that we remain committed to practicing our craft in a decolonized space.